From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Millar begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the full report into the Education Department's handling of child sexual abuse allegations has now been made public after a partial copy was released yesterday. It highlights concerns about 21 staff members who remain employed by the department, concerns the government says have now been reviewed.
Explosive revelations brought to light. The full report into the Education Department's response to child sexual abuse now public.
A decision was made that it was time that the public had transparency and were given comfort that we were taking this seriously and taking action.
The report says 41 staff currently employed by the department have some record of concern. 21 of those cases assessed as requiring a more detailed review.
And I've taken appropriate action on each and every one of them.
5 Code of Conduct investigations commenced, 2 now completed, with those employees returned to work. As for the remaining 16, a number are relief teachers.
I have no remit to investigate effectively casual employees. Each of those has been advised that they'll no longer be employed in the Department of Education.
A dark cloud hanging over Parliament today.
We want to take every step possible to keep our children safe, Mr. Speaker. I do not step back from that, Mr. Speaker, and I stand here today providing that commitment to this House.
Ministers avoiding media.
I think there'd be a lot less scepticism about the government's response to this inquiry if they'd been open and transparent about it from the start.
Yet the day after a report has been published that exposes serious failings in a Department of Education, the Premier has said nothing.
Lawyer Sebastian Buscemi says survivors have expressed to him their disappointment.
The sheer unwillingness of government to address this, to deal with this, to respond to it is quite disheartening, I think, for survivors, but anyone as well seeing it.
Most of the 21 recommendations will be implemented within 12 months, but a number won't be in place until after 2022.
We will only have achieved success when we have a culture where every single person in this organisation takes responsibility for keeping children safe, and all children know that they have a right to report when they don't feel safe.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And if this story has caused concerns, you can contact the Sexual Assault Support Service on 1800 697 877. Well, Tasmania's hit a major vaccine milestone as we look towards our borders reopening. Our reporter Elizabeth O'Neill joins us. Lizzie, what is the milestone and what does it mean for Tasmanians?
Kim, the state has hit a significant vaccine target with 80% of Tasmanians 16 and over having received 2 doses of the COVID vaccine. Under the national plan, the state would be opening its borders to the mainland, but December 15 will remain the reopening date to allow for 90% of Tasmanians to have the vaccine. The state government is now urging 12 to 15-year-olds to receive the jab. The state's vax rate has us trailing behind the ACT, New South Wales and Victoria, while Queensland, Western Australia and the Northern Territory are yet to reach 70% double-dosed, all regions Tasmanians can travel to. But it's certainly good news for Tasmanians wanting to return to travelling and life as normal, Kim.
Well, there is now additional support on offer for businesses still feeling the impacts of the ongoing border closures. A new round of the Tasmanian Government Small Business Support Grants has been announced today. The grants of between $3,000 and $50,000 will also be open to those who applied in the first round. An all-Tasmanian lineup of artists will feature at a New Year's festival at Mona. But the organisers of another event have been forced to cancel, slamming public health for COVID restrictions, which prevent patrons from getting on their feet to welcome in 2022.
Sounds of what's to come this New Year's Eve. Scraps, one of 7 Tasmanian acts to welcome in 2022 at Mona.
Bit of playing, bit of disco, bit of fun, bit of boogieing.
COVID marshals will be patrolling the event of around 700 festival goers.
We sort of here refer to them as the fun police, but nonetheless we'll do it in a fun way to remind people about their requirements to socially distance.
It's bittersweet for Tasmania's event scene. Falls at Marion Bay cancelled indefinitely, and now the Hobart Summer Festival. Vandemonian left reeling after it was forced to scrap its event last minute, with only 250 people allowed to dance at any one time in a crowd of 4,000.
Artists like the Presets don't want to perform to a seated audience.
Public Health says it cannot preempt the outcomes of future reviews for large gatherings. Cold comfort for organisers, warning it's impossible to plan for new events.
There's no real roadmap and there's no real definitive time around the fact that once we get to 90 or 95% double vaccination that people can dance.
Music Tasmania also slamming the Premier for not offering enough support.
When Unconformity got cancelled, I think it would have been nice for him to also cancel the cricket out of solidarity, just to show that actually there's an even playing field.
Painting a bleak future for an industry already on its knees. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
An alleged drink driver is paying a high price for crashing into a Launceston business. Her car colliding into the Alps and Amici food store, causing minor damage. The woman, aged in her 70s, then returned a blood alcohol reading of 0.187, more than 3 times the legal limit. She has been charged with high-range drink driving and her licence has been suspended for 12 months. Those quarantining at Launceston's Peppers Seaport were evacuated for a short time today. Firefighters and police arrived there after an alarm went off in a vacant room around lunchtime. Those in quarantine were wearing a mask while checks were undertaken, which took less than an hour. No cause has been determined for the alarm going off. Tourists can now travel across the state in style with a fleet of Tesla Model 3s available to hire. The electric vehicle's offering an emissions-free trip, with visitors able to top up at renewable energy charges across the state.
We know that the visitors that are coming here to Tasmania truly value the nature aspects and the sustainability of our industry, so it's a great initiative for Drive Car Hire to be investing in these, especially at this time during a global pandemic.
The federal government this week announced its plan to put more low and zero emissions vehicles on the road by 2030. A Tasmanian Ashes test now has state government support. The Premier is making a formal pitch to Cricket Australia to bring the 5th test of the series here if Perth is unable to host it in mid-January. Cricket Tasmania has long maintained it is willing and able to put on the test at short notice.
It's an easy venue to broadcast from. It's a top quality venue. We know the pitch is going to be fine. We know everything in relation to the venue is fine. So we're ready to go at any time. We could play a test match tomorrow if we wanted to.
And the match, Mr Speaker, could be the one that decides the series, Mr Speaker.
Any decision on the Perth test is likely to be late as border rules evolve. Hobart and Melbourne are considered the most likely backup venues. A deep dive into the state's youth justice system has revealed a huge decline in young offending. The reporting by the Sentencing Advisory Council found the number of defendants dropped from almost 2,100 to around 630 in the decade to 2020. The rate of youths found guilty also fell by around 60%. The author of the research says it helps fill a knowledge gap and will be handed to the government to help inform future decision making. Finding new ways to reduce single-use plastic at the supermarket is food for thought. Woolworths has done just that, with Tasmanian stores the first in the country allowing customers to bring their own reusable containers for deli items.
Meats, cheeses and olives, every deli delight, now more sustainable to purchase. Tasmania is leading the nation, becoming the first state to introduce a bring your own container program at all Woolworths stores.
They'll simply bring it in, we give it a quick clean and then we put in their products, we tear the weight so there's no charge for any sort of packaging and then they simply take it through the checkouts.
The supermarket giant responding to customers' growing concerns about the environment.
Well, it's going to destroy the world, firstly. All the plastic, the amount of stuff we're throwing away, and if we can possibly reuse things, all the better.
Good for the environment, good for the economy as well.
But the program falls short of scrapping plastic altogether. Customers can't bring in takeaway or glass containers. And no lid, no deal. It must be able to seal. meaning plastic Tupperware containers are the preferred option, though the impact for a single store is significant. It's hoped up to 10,000 plastic containers could be saved each year in Tasmania, with New South Wales and Victoria to adopt the initiative in the next 12 months. The supermarket chain also committing to make all of its own brand packaging recyclable, compostable or reusable by 2023. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
As we head into the festive season, Tasmanians are being asked to help families financially struggling by purchasing an experience for them to enjoy. The Rotary Club of Tamar Sunrise and the Launceston Benevolent Society are launching the Children's Christmas Angel, giving the gift of fun to those in need.
So there's 10-pin bowling, rock climbing, penny royal, putt golf, the movies, laser force.
Families who are just finding it difficult to pay bills, who are under rent stress, who are finding it hard to, even provide their family with food.
Gifts can be purchased online from Launceston Tickets up until December 19. An iconic slice of Sandy Bay real estate is up for sale for the first time in more than 170 years. The Red Chapel Church has already sparked more than 50 expressions of interest in just 24 hours. And agents expect the rare offering will trigger a bidding frenzy.
Perched on the waterfront in one of Hobart's most sought-after suburbs, agents say this is a development opportunity heaven sent.
Opportunities like this, they're very rare to market.
Sandy Bay's old Anglican church, affectionately known as the Red Chapel, making its real estate debut more than 170 years after it was first built. Sold under the National Redress Scheme, the stately buildings and sprawling land is hoping to appeal to both commercial and residential interest.
They make lovely restaurants, function facilities, and if you've ever been looking for your generational family home, this certainly could be it.
It's one of the last parcels of undeveloped land on the Bay's doorstep, and if the views and pews still aren't selling it, the real estate says look to the light.
It faces directly north, which, without doing any real refurbishment to the building, allows a lot of natural light in.
To snap this slice of history up, you'll need a pretty big collection plate.
In recent times, we've seen properties transact from anywhere between 4 and 6.5 million.
The way the market is surging, it could go for a whole lot more under the hammer next month. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
A sentimental start to today's Sheffield Shield match. Players observed a minute's silence in respect of the late Keith Bradshaw, who played for Tasmania and later became the boss of the South Australian Cricket Association. Rain interrupted much of today's play, but that didn't stop Tasmania from making an impact. The Redbacks lost 2 wickets for 27 runs from 15 overs at the crease. Devonport has withdrawn from the FFA Cup. The Strikers pulled the pin on the nationwide tournament because of COVID restrictions. The team was set to play Avondale FC in the round of 32 in Victoria. The club says its decision will allow the tournament to move forward. The Jack Jumpers will have a new opponent in the club's historic first game. Tasmania will now play the Brisbane Bullets on December 3 at MyState Bank Arena instead of the Adelaide 36ers. Western Australia's extended border closure has sparked the league-wide reshuffle.
The COVID situation is still fluid, but the likelihood of it impacting home games, it's more likely to affect opponents who are travelling around, depending on their own border restrictions.
The shake-up could give Tasmanians the chance to see local player Tanner Krebs in action for the Bullets. And Bernie brothers Trey and Taran Armstrong have reunited on the basketball court for the first time in 2 years. Taran made a stunning debut for California Baptist University with 12 points, 8 assists and 7 rebounds, plus a three-pointer to seal the game.
Thomas to Taran Armstrong. He'll fire off the three. Why not? Taran Armstrong, in his first game as a Lancer, hits the three-pointer.
In his third season, Trey had 5 points and 7 rebounds, but went off injured in the closing minutes after hurting his hip. Their side beat San Francisco 87-65. What a way to bring it all back together, Kim.
Yeah, talented family. Thank you very much, Tom.
Good evening. Well, many Tasmanians were getting back into their winter uniform today.
Puffer jackets everywhere. Just 13 degrees in Hobart, 15 for Launceston, Burnie 18, Devonport 16 today. Bushy Park's 19 was the warmest it got. Strawn got to 16, Low Head and Friendly Beaches 15, the Bass Strait Islands 14, St Helens and Grove 13, Lyawini 11. Top rainfall today, 11 millimetres in Hobart, Fern Tree 37 millimetres in the 24 hours to 9 a.m, and that's why the rain-bearing cloud passing through today. An active area of cloud extends across much of the nation too, except for the far west. The low has cloud to our west, along with a cold patch of air following through. Tomorrow, the deep low moves to our southeast, along with a front. Another is south of the Bight, followed by a high. Winds south-southwesterly, getting up to 25 to 35 knots over the east, tending west to southwesterly in the afternoon. Gale warning on from St Helens Point to Tasman Island. Strong wind warning from Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point and southeast inshore waters. Hobart, 17 tomorrow with a shower or two clearing. Cygnet a shower and 16, 17 the top for New Norfolk. Launceston shooting for a top of 21 and partly cloudy. Sunny for Devonport, 20 the top and 17 for Campbelltown. Burnie expecting a mostly sunny 19 tomorrow. 15 the high for Strawn with a shower clearing. Partly cloudy over Smithton, 18 the maximum. St Helens partly cloudy and 19, 17 the top for Swansea and also Fingal. The UV, there it is, expected to be 8 again and very high tomorrow. On Friday, a few showers for most regions, maybe less over the west and north. Scattered showers on Saturday, clearing from the west in the afternoon. Snow to 900 metres. Showers statewide on Sunday, more frequent over the west, central and south with hail. Not much sun shining on the North Island either. Just Perth with 25, along with Alice Springs and Broome under clear skies. A little bit of rain about Hobart, 9 degrees, 13 and partly cloudy in Launceston, sunny in Devonport at the moment and 14 degrees. Kim, they tell me summer is just around the corner, but that's only on the calendar. Feels like it's months away, but in fact it's only 45 days to Christmas. I will have a gift list for you tomorrow to start checking it out for me.
Oh, I've started saving already, Murph. Thank you very much. That's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.